Hello, boys, and hello, listeners. A very good evening. A very good evening, especially for Charlie and I, because our team is in the finals. Sri, you had a good run. You outdid yourself last time when you became the champions.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay. It's nice to
Yes,
peg you
yes,
back
yes.
to where you belong, the mid table of the international teams. VS, Germany.
Ah,
I guess the wall
Ah,
broke, huh?
the, okay. That was a
It
bit
was
harsh.
about time, man.
Yeah, historically speaking, yes, you are awfully silent. Come on.
We fought well, the boys did well, and we move on. The diplomatic reply managers give in the press conference after a bad
Yeah,
encounter. I'll
yeah.
go for that.
Yeah.
No. We had a good performance, but the best team on the pitch won. You should have given the
I
statement.
would, I would agree. I would agree. We had a
Yeah.
we had a good game. The best team on the pitch won. Credits to the boys, and we move on.
I think you forgot two things. Inshallah and you won hearts.
inshallah.
You won hearts. Exactly. The home team won the hearts of the people. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And but let's not dwell in the past. Is it fair to say both teams, or rather, the two best teams of the tournament are in the finals?
I mean, that would depend on how you
Awkward
define the
silence
team.
was the correct response, by the way.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I would say that really depends on your definition of. So if team for you is a collection of the best players in the tournament,
Mm.
then England certainly deserve to be in the final based on the pure talent that they have in the squad, on the bench, and everything. But if by team you mean a team, a unit, like a set of players functioning as a singular unit and delivering it well, England maybe they don't deserve to be in the final ahead of a few others. But I think the draws were in their favor in the sense that Germany and Spain ran into each other at an earlier stage. So that certainly helped. And then Spain had to
Let's
go
not
through
forget France as well. So
France as
three
well.
of the
Yes.
best teams pitted against each other before the finals. That was
Yeah.
honestly a disgrace from a footballing perspective. But I don't really know how these draws work, so I don't want to comment on that.
So like carrying the top on VS's opinion. So I really don't think England deserves the spot in the final. Okay, according going to VS's opinion. So if we take it as a unit, okay, the team that is performing well, like gelling together and moving together towards the final third and delivering on the goal, we have some players in the Dutch national team, such as Tiani and Schouten from Milan and PSV Eindhoven, respectively, who are the double pivots in the team. And if you guys noticed watching the Dutch games so far, they really are gelling well, and they have been one of the I may be like overkilling it, but they may be the underrated Xavi and Iniesta for the Dutch national team, respectively. Okay, they have carried the Dutch national team like back and forth.
I've never seen a better disclaimer than that. I might be overkilling it, so we can't really interrupt and say anything. But
Yes,
noted.
exactly. So yeah, because I liked seeing their performances on the pitch because they were a nobody before the game. But sorry, Tiani and Shooten, if you're watching this game, they were a nobody before this, and they were not common names in the Dutch national team and in the public before. But they have gelled so well, and they've become regular starters in the game so well that they've carried the team to the semi-finals. And moreover, that they have dominated the English national team, who had to win a game in the stoppage time or even the 90th minute of football in that game. So I definitely think the Dutch national team deserved a place in the finals, along with Spain, who have literally been the best team in this tournament so far, bar none. No second thoughts on that. So yeah, that's been my opinion so far.
You know what's funny about the whole situation of the Dutch? I don't think those two players are supposed to play. Like, say for example,
Yeah,
if Cooper Miners and Frankie De Jong were available and fit, I
exactly.
think those two would have started, and we wouldn't have able to see these two players. So I guess it's like a blessing in disguise for them. Uh, uh,
Yes,
but I
but
don't know
they have
whether. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Yeah.
but they have really used the opportunities like anyone else in this tournament,
Mm,
right? We haven't seen an underdog player performing and punching above their weight itself, unlike Tiani and Shutem, who I have observed, and even the majority of football Twitter and even the journalists have observed. nobody has punched above the weight more than both those midfielders and some couple other midfielders in this tournament.
Yeah, and I guess I'd say they definitely put their names on the market. I think there'll be few teams will be looking after
Yes.
them after this whole Euros. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, because you said the better team deserved to be in the finals and pointed out
Yeah.
Netherlands, or rather implying that Netherlands were that team.
Yes.
Football is won when you score goals. And at the end of
Yes.
90 minutes, Watkins managed that for the English while nobody stepped up for
Yeah.
the touch.
So
If you look at their run,
yes.
they did the same against Slovenia, if I'm not mistaken, with Jude
Yes.
Bellingham.
Yes.
I try to
Yeah. Yeah.
forget everything that's happening around Bellingham. If you do it time and again, is it really fair to call that lucky? Once fine, twice fine.
I
Is
wouldn't call it
this
lucky.
English side, yeah,
I wouldn't call
is
it
this
lucky
English
because
side the Real Madrid version of the international
not
football?
exactly, not exactly, but I wouldn't call it entirely lucky either. Because apart from the 11 players who start the game, the squad comprises of the 16 players who are on the bench as well. And in terms of individual quality of the players who can be sent on after the 60th, 70th minute, depending upon the circumstance in the game, no coach in Eurocup has as many options as Gareth Southgate has on his bench. It's
Exactly.
not just Oli Watkins. He has Cole Palmer, who's coming off after a brilliant season on the bench. He has an entirely different sense of striker if he sends on Ivan Toney. He has, yes, Oli Watkins. I think the only player who Southgate would want to start instead of coming off the bench purely due to fitness issues is Luke Shaw, because in terms of impact that a substitute has had for England, the past two games, the biggest impact was from Luke Shaw. And the upgrade is not only because Luke Shaw is a quality left back, he is replacing Trippier, who is playing in the wrong position, a right footed right back playing in left back. So when Luke Shaw comes off, England has a whole dimension to their attack. So it's not entirely down to luck. It is definitely because of the quality of the players. Because the last goal that they scored, so first of all, that's not the first time Oli Watkins has scored that. He has scored that against Chelsea this season. I watched that
Yeah.
game live. He has done it 2-3 times before. It's a championship skill. Get the ball at whatever angle, turn the defender and punt it hard. That's what Watkins did. That has been working in the English lower levels for so often, and it's just his muscle memory. It's not something Southgate coached into him. So Southgate needed to rely on that quality as striker. Watkins, let's
Hey,
not forget, is coming off after a brilliant season. He was the second top scorer in EPL. And also, it was Palmer who provided the pass, and Palmer is one of the leading assist makers from last season. And to be able to bring players of that caliber off the bench, it is a testament to player quality rather than sheer luck.
hey, and also the manager's
I would
quality, or yeah, go on, Sri.
no, 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 no. I was saying I guess the change was more evident when he decided to bring on Maino, because I feel like Maino changed the whole dynamics of the team. Like before, with next to Declan Rice, like there were other people playing, but what Maino has brought to this whole midfield, I think it has been very evident in the performance against Netherlands. I guess every rival fan, even who doesn't like Manchester United, they were in awe of Kobe Mano and what he had done on that pitch. So I would say yes, Shaw definitely brought something because Trippier was obviously, as he said, he was placed on the wrong side. But I felt like the more change towards the positive end was brought by Kobe Mino. So yeah.
I absolutely agree with Karthik. The only reason why I didn't single out Mainu was that he's no longer coming off the bench. He's starting the game, and he deservedly starts the game. So that was a mid-tournament adjustment that Southgate made, or was
This
rather
was
forced to.
very similar to Enzo being brought on by Scaloni after
Yeah.
Argentina.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
were,
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
struggling big time in the 2022 World Cup until then. But be it Mino, getting picked in the lineup because he sees the potential, or Oli Watkins coming in, or Cole Palmer that game. Like, he was willing to take off Harry Kane when England have always been heading into penalties. I thought that was a sad move. Like if it were, say, somebody like a Luis Enrique or Carlo Ancelotti at club football, we would have been raving the manager, like waxing lyricals and whatnot. I feel like a lot of what Southgate does doesn't
I
seem to
would
get the credit that
I
it
would
deserves.
disagree with you on that, Kriska. So Kane on his own accord is a brilliant penalty taker. Nobody's denying that. But a Harry Kane who has played for 90 minutes, and you also have to remember that Kane is no longer playing a pure out and out number 9 for England. More often than not, he's dropping a bit central. He's linking up the play.
CDM.
He's not routinely found in the box when he has to be there, and he's putting in a lot of work. So Kane is really toiling it out for England. You can argue about the effectiveness of his work rate, but you can't deny that he is working. So Harry Kane, a match that is potentially going into extra time, taking off Harry Kane, who's worked that much throughout the match, is not a bold call, because if you are familiar with the penalty record of Ivan Toney, Cole Palmer, and Oli Watkins, you wouldn't call it a bold call. I don't remember seeing Ivan Toney ever missing a penalty.
Yeah.
I don't think he has that very weird penalty technique wherein he's not looking to the ball, he's just looking at the keeper and going and shooting.
Keeper.
It's an icon, but it works.
So
It has worked
are
every
you
single time.
are
I've
you
seen
saying
it.
you would bet on him every time he has to score penalties?
I'm just telling that it's not a bold call from Southgate in the context of the match. So he's not replacing Harry Kane. It looks, I mean, for a casual who might think, okay, Harry Kane is a big game player, Bayern Munich striker,
Come on, man.
PL.
Like, just ask
No, he's
Roberto
not.
Martinez, who didn't have the balls to.
No. My
No.
point is bringing on
No.
Ivan Toney, Oli Watkins, or Cole Palmer in place of Harry Kane in a match that is potentially heading into a penalty shootout is not a bold call. It is a very pragmatic call. I mean, these guys, they are penalty. Palmer's penalty record speaks for itself. I was praying the other day that Palmer misses the penalty against if it goes to the penalty, because he has scored a lot of penalties for my club Chelsea, and I don't want the low of averages to be catching up with him when he plays for Chelsea. I would rather have him miss his
Oh.
penalty while he's playing for England.
If the law of averages were to actually catch up, Cole Palmer would be sent back to middle school. So chill,
Yeah.
that's not happening.
No,
But
I would say
see,
sorry. No, I would say in terms of the bold call, it's about he bringing up Watkins and Palmer on the 75th minute rather than the 89th minute which we didn't against Switzerland, because he
That
brought
would be a
Tony only on
better
89th minute. Yeah, so at
Yeah.
least he gave some time to do something on the pitch rather than just just standing there. So that was the bold move, I would say.
Okay. So Kriska, like I have an opinion. Okay, so since you brought up Southgate subbing in Kane as a Chad move, I would like to go back 2 to 3 years, where when Mourinho came in at Tottenham Hotspur, there is a reason why Mourinho preferenced and gave chances and made the team give chances more to Heung-min Son than Kane. Okay, Kane used to be the provider, and Heung-min Son used to make that provincial lightning runs on the left wing side and used to score those 20-25 odd goals, if I am not wrong, during the Jose Mourinho reign itself. There is a
he was
reason.
actually fighting for the golden boot.
Exactly. So there is a
Without
reason because of
penalties.
that. So if you observe Kane's game, okay, it becomes so predictable after the first 20 to 30 minutes. He always makes that pyramidal run, apart from the from that center third to the final third, he always makes that pyramidal run along with the left back or the right back or the center attacking midfielder of the team. Okay. So after the first half is done and after the 60th or 70th minute is done, where Kane is no longer useful apart from taking a penalty and slotting it in the back of the net without any doubts, Kane's game becomes very predictable, and that's why Southgate had enough of this game and brought in Oli Watkins so that he can bring in some fresh legs and creativity to change the game. Probably, like some manager, not some manager, but any manager has to take that bold call to sacrifice some legend of the game.
Fair enough.
and
Fair enough.
Do that thing.
Let me rephrase the question. Are you
Okay.
folks being repeatedly harsh on a coach who has brought his team to 2 Euro finals in a row?
I get where your argument is coming from, because Southgate, I think we mentioned it last episode, he has won more knockout games for England national team than any manager since 1968 combined. And his record, I would say, is massively good. So a World Cup semi-final, followed by a Euros final, followed by another Euros final. And this is a national team that's not conventionally used to being in cup tournament finals. So it depends on, again, the perspective that you look at it from. So in terms of a pure result-oriented view, you can argue that Southgate has done well based on statistics alone. But fortunately, history is not entirely written by statisticians. There's always the story that goes behind it. So for the 2018 World Cup, it was a pretty easy run that England had, and they actually lost to the first properly set team that they faced when they faced Croatia. The Germany team that they beat was the Germany team weaning off their proud years and all of the main stalwarts of the team edging towards retirement. Even this year, if you look at it, my question would be, would you think England would be in the finals had they ran into a Spain or a Germany or even a France at an earlier stage? I'm not entirely sure.
Ah, shit.
Oh
Yeah, I
shit.
think
Okay.
VS just got knocked out.
Yes.
Just as he was
Eh,
talking about Germany.
Who
yeah,
comes
yeah,
to
yeah.
know?
But anyway, he does have
Yeah.
a point. England did have an
Yes.
easy, or perhaps one of the easiest
I'm sorry.
runs to a tournament final since Real Madrid had in Champions League
Yes.
when they
Yeah.
faced Ajax and who else? It's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think
are
I lost the track of it. I had a small disconnect. So yeah, even this tournament, England's run into the final comprised of beating three Slovakian teams. One of them in the 90th minute after a Jude
Yeah.
Bellingham bicycle kick, and even Netherlands, they really had to huff and puff to kind of beat them. So I would argue that
You know
Southgate.
who else had to really huff and puff against Netherlands in the okay, not in the semi-finals, in the quarterfinals before eventually reaching the finals and winning the whole thing?
Yeah, so Argentina did that. I remember that. I'm not saying Netherlands is a bad team,
Saying
but this
Netherlands, yeah,
Netherlands
exactly.
this Netherlands under Ronald Koeman, I think they have a plethora of talent that might be going underutilized because of the coach's structure. They have Van de Ven on the bench. I mean, they have the right backs to play a proper 3-4-3. Van de Ven, Van Dijk. They have not used Jeremy Frimpong at all. And if you've been following German football, Frimpong has been one of the best right-sided. I mean, he's a false
Yes.
fullback. He's more of an attacker than a fullback. He was
Right,
not
yeah.
played at all. Madsen, who was actually a
No.
pretty good attacking left wing back, was
Like,
not played.
That is Gravenberg, there is Mathis Dilly, there
There's
is
Gravenberg. Yep.
exactly what a
So
pool of talent.
it's a very underutilized talent pool under Ronald Koeman. So I would say Southgate has also been incredibly lucky with the way the draws have favored him in the World Cup and certainly during this Euros, because Slovakia, Slovenia, and these are not exactly awe-inspiring opponents. So Spain are here after beating Germany and France, and England are here after beating Slovenia, Slovakia, and even
Okay,
struggled
fair
against.
enough. Fair enough. Let's move on to Spain. Everything seems to be clicking. Beautiful football led by starlets. One Barca and one hopefully on the way to Barca.
Yes.
Terrorizing fullbacks on the wings. Do you have any complaints at all, or do you think Spain is just gonna run rampant like how Barca did against United in 2009?
Just a small ale. I'm just gonna no complaints, no nothing whatsoever. I let the stage to Sri and VS. Yeah.
No, see, the thing is, obviously, it would seem like Spain are gonna thrash England tomorrow, but in this sport, it's always like it's not 100% that if you deserve to, you never sometimes you sometimes lose. So
It's a cruel sport. It's a cruel
yeah, and that's where the fun lies, right? I like say for example, if everyone who deserved to win in the sport, I don't think the sport evolves. It just
We'd
stays
have fairy
but
tales, that's
yeah,
true. But I want to bring
yeah,
up something you brought up the day we did our first Euro stream. You were talking about how this Spain side is. Yeah, I can see you're proud of that.
One good
Sri
take,
brought
yeah.
up. I mean, like one good take is all it takes. Just ask Ivan Tony.
I bet he's betting on himself in the Euro final to score. Who knows? Yeah.
So you talked about how this Spain squad is particularly best positioned to play knockout football as opposed to league football, which is how the typical Spain squads are set up. And I'm not really surprised by that. We have seen this with Barca and DNA. One team is like more fine-tuned to play knockouts while other is more of a league machine. But this is the first time when the team has a good mixture of players from the likes of Sociedad or Bilbao who make up the core of the team, not to mention Manchester City, who are somehow like really good in both leagues and knockouts, right? Like for like 100+ reasons that like we can put out a separate episode on.
I still think Rodri is the best player in the Spain national team, if I'm not being wrong. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just
I
my
think-
opinion.
I think
I don't-
Rodri is
maybe
the best player
Yamal-
in football the last year.
Lamine Yamal.
Yes.
So I
I-
think
okay.
Karthik's prophecy has come good so far. They've just
Yeah.
steamrolled opposition. I can't really think of any particular game where they struggled.
Yeah.
Maybe when Pedri was out briefly against Germany, and then Olmo came on and
See, for me as a football fan, it was just like very nice to see them players going expressing out after this whole Pep whatever is happening in the league football. So yeah, I was just very happy. I don't want to go into that. Yeah, I don't want to go into that. So yeah, I think it was just I was just very happy to see those Fabian Ruiz, these kind of players just excelling at the big stage. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, like from my part as a Vivala Espana fan, Lamine Yamal, I mean, what a freaking goal was that? Like that goal broke the internet like it was that Messi goal against Boateng back in 2014, if I'm not being wrong. Every football page almost
2015.
2015. Okay, just Kiska, okay, just give me some slack, man. Okay, so yeah, every Twitter page, every other blogger, every other footballer mentioned that Lamine Yamal goal, that too at the age of 16. Like
that's because Musk altered the algorithm. Now you get paid to post that goal.
Okay, man. But like, see, yeah, it was like curling up at the right moment on the right flank, and then slotting it past the goalkeeper, like the goal hitting the woodwork, and then the ball starting in the back of the net. It was just pure Arjen Robben's goal at the age of.
He almost
16
pulled that
years.
off a
Yeah.
second time in the
Right
Spain
there.
match as well.
You know, for me, for me, it was more about the occasion rather than the goal. This kid, he's just still like 16, turning, going to turn 17. The
17,
audacity to pull shots like that at this age at the semifinals, I was bro.
Karthik, the audacity started way before. The audacity didn't start in the match. So it started in that Adrian Rabiot interview where Rabiot said that Yamal will have to do a lot more to go into the final fast France. And then he goes post this Instagram story where winners talk after the results are come. Then he beats Rabiot. He dribbled it past Rabiot before
that
he
was
bulldozed that
icing
ball
on the
into
cake.
top corner. And then he went to the cameras and he asked, "Now talk." And let's also not forget there was this very small clip that happened after the match. Towards the press conference, he was carrying
another one. Yeah,
Ninja Turtle mask. The Ninja Turtle mask, he was going to wear that to take it to Mbappe. So this
okay. I have to step in and correct this.
Man is not just the next superstar; he is the next level shithouster. Yeah.
He is audacious. He has audacious written all over his game.
A fan handed him the mask. A fan handed him the mask as he was walking to the press conference, but he still had this slice smile and gave it off. But I agree, like he's not somebody you want to mess with. Like he doesn't behave like a 16-year-old. Like
also, I think in game, another place where he doesn't behave like a 16-year-old is in his game. So apart from the goals and the dribbles. So we are kind of used to young wingers coming in and expressing themselves, dribbling, beating a couple fullbacks and scoring the odd goal. But his game is actually refined for somebody 16 years old. Yeah. He knows to weigh the pass. That weighing of the pass, that is a very fine mental attribute. It takes a lot of processing power to evaluate what's going on around you and hit the right pass at the right pace to the right player. He can do that. His game is actually very refined. His decision making is pretty good. He again has a natural talent, so I think he definitely is a superstar in the making.
Is it fair to say he's the next? Like we have had a lot of Messis, right? Like
don't say next Messi. He's not the next Messi. No. He's not the next Messi. See, there is this fundamental. I'll introduce you to VS's football dribbling theory. Okay, there is this very fundamental difference in dribbling. There are two types of dribblers. Like I'm keeping it very simplified.
Put your eyes down. Dribbling.
No. This is the Kaoru Mitoma footballing theory, dribbling PhD.
Yeah. Let's call it that.
Okay, let's
there are two different type of dribblers. The first type is the straight lines dribbler, and the second type is the curved dribblers. So the straight line dribblers, what they do is they rely on fit movement, they rely on sudden changes of direction. but the ball more or less moves in straight lines that suddenly changes direction with good close control. Lamine Yamal, Riyad Mahrez, Arjen Robben,
Even
these are
Mbappe.
that type of dribblers. Mbappe is not that good, to be honest. I mean, in terms of dribbling, Mbappe is
I
not
think
that good.
Mbappe's
It's
pace
more about
kind of
yeah,
outshines his dribbling. I think he's actually a
it
really
does.
good dribbler,
It
but it
does.
doesn't get noticed
It
because
does.
he's just
But for me,
insanely
the
quick.
peak example of a straight lines dribbler at the pure highest level is Riyad Mahrez. So Riyad Mahrez
Okay,
has that kind of the ball moves
no
in a straight
complaints.
line, but his dribbling is very effective. Now the other kind of dribblers, in my theory, are the curved dribblers. So the curved dribblers, they do not take the ball. The ball doesn't. The distance between the fit and the ball is actually less, and they take more touches of the ball, and the ball seems to curve when they are dribbling with it. Leo
Yeah.
Messi is that type of dribbler. Messi's dribbles are curved. It's a different type. And Eden Hazard is not exactly at Messi's level, but Hazard is also that type of dribbler. So
Neymar?
Lamine Yamal is more of a straight line dribbler at a very high level. Like it's a very high level that he's currently possessing. But Messi's naturally, I would say, curve dribbling is a better overall aesthetic and effective form of dribbling than straight line
Are
dribbling.
you sure you weren't just when you were watching Messi and you're just sober when watching?
No,
So one is straight and another is curved.
no. See, anybody who's watched Messi play, no, it's a different ball game altogether. So the only even Neymar was a very
Fair
good.
enough.
Neymar could actually do both. He was a hybrid of both, but he was
Yeah, I
more
mean,
into.
I no complaints. Neymar is one of the biggest
Yeah,
snake dribblers
Snake
that I
yeah.
dribblers.
know.
Yeah. So Lamine
Snake.
Yamal, he's no Messi. He's very different from Messi. His game style is different. There are similarities. I mean, the way he in-swings the ball. So Messi had this trademark ball where he would take the ball on the right wing. Jordi Alba would race past on the left side, and he would hit that in-swinger with Alba racing onto it. Hi, class A. So Lamine
No.
Yamal has a similar kind of in-swinging delivery on his left foot. He can take the shots. But come on, I'm not calling anybody the next Messi. I've never
Yeah.
called anybody the next
BS,
Messi. Messi
BS,
is there. That's it.
BS. Just to sorry to interrupt you, but Kriska, honestly speaking, but we've seen many Messis, as VS said, like Bojan Kric at Barcelona, and Pedro. Okay, so I don't want Pedro
Okay,
was a
that's
Barcelona.
not true. Pedro
Yeah,
was always compared and likened with the next Alexis Sanchez. That was his
yeah,
feeling.
okay. So Alexis Sanchez, Pedro,
Okay,
Bojan, we've seen.
yeah.
Okay, but I don't want the world, or I don't want the football world, or
Okay,
journalist or us,
see,
to keep that monumental expectation on him. Let him
fair
express his
enough.
game.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you where I'm coming from before we move
Okay.
on to the next topic. I watched Messi for a good 10 to 15
Yeah.
years. I'm
Me too.
watching good for us.
Yeah.
Yamal from the time he's playing. At 16, like VS brought up, the maturity, his game reading, and when you combine that with the skills, that's where I think this kid is really special. When I say Messi, he doesn't have to, end up winning 7 Ballon d'Ors, or it's probably 8 at this point. I've lost
8-8.
track of this, right? I'm saying like how he is the man in a team full of superstars. How when he doesn't play, the difference is felt. How he can carry the burden of two great sporting institutions in Spain and Barcelona on his young shoulders. When was the last time we saw a 16 or a 17 or a 18-year-old have that big an impact in the stages this kid has had? That is where I'm
That was
coming from.
actually Mbappe in the World Cup. Like, to be
Yeah.
Okay,
honest,
absolutely. And Mbappe is this generation's Ronaldo, whether we
Yeah,
like
like
to admit it or not.
Mbappe was more entertaining at 18 or 19 than he is now, to be honest.
I would
Yeah,
agree. Yeah.
that's my hot take. That's my
Uh,
hot take. Yes, you have to agree, Kriska. Like, he's barely entertaining now. At 18 or 19, he was like the next big thing in world football, and
you
he is
should
currently now.
see him play for Real Madrid.
Let's see,
I'm
probably.
so
Yeah.
not looking forward to, but I still have just for this take.
Let's
And
see.
Klasamira, with that, a warm welcome to you. Nice of you to show up very late,
Yes.
pretty much like your team to the finals. We have actually covered most things that you would have probably liked to discuss. So we are gonna go with predictions before we wrap up the show.
Also, Kriska, I'm gonna jump you on that one. So, Class A, so Rudvan Nistelrooy has joined Manchester United. So how do you feel about that? Since he's been your idol for since you started watching football, how do you feel about that, and what's your
What's
reaction?
that? What's that? That's three
Huh?
people who was watching dropping out because it had nothing to do with Spain and England.
No, I just wanna invite Klasa to a to an argument or a statement. Yeah, that's it. Since he joined
Okay.
the podcast, right? Yeah,
It's
Klasa,
good to
yes.
see. It's good to see managers who beat Arne Slot in our coaching staff right now. Not even as managers.
Uh,
Stanley was asking for it.
holy shit!
He
That
asked
came.
for an argument, instead got ran over.
Okay, thank you, Klasa. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, with that in
Okay.
mind, I
Thank you,
think I'll
Charlie,
start
for
with the.
asking that.
Yeah, Kriska, I'll start with the predictions, okay, and you
Yes.
can take it forward. So, like we mentioned, Spain are the obvious favorite, although England are a team stack full of individual talent. And although Spain have performed way better than England in the run up to the final, it's a single match, and you really cannot say that Spain are going to certainly win it. But with that said, that's the disclaimer part. Now comes the wild part. I think England might just win it. I think England might just win it because England has that defensive stability to their game. They've that Mainu and Rice midfield in tandem is working pretty well. They are going to set up negatively. Let this be very clear. Southgate is not going to send out his boys to out dominate Spain. Uh,
He's gonna
if
drain the
if
energy until Spain give up in extra
Yeah.
yeah,
time.
if Spain's individual talent, like if Spain's individual magicians in Rodri or Lamine Yamal or Nico Williams is unable to deliver something extraordinary, I don't see England being broken down easily by Spain as a unit. And now that leads us to the latter end of the match, and that is where Southgate will bring up his trump cards. Spain, you have to remember, Pedri is injured, so Olmo, who was their impact substitution, is already starting and is doing very well, but that takes away considerable bench strength. So Spain's best bench players right now would be, I don't know, Oyarzabal and Marino probably. On the
Marino,
other hand,
yeah.
England from their bench, they're going to bring on Cole Palmer. They might bring on Ivan Toney. They have Ollie Watkins. They might have Luke Shaw. If England are leading, they're going to bring on Gallagher to just run his heart out and see off
Yes,
the game.
that's where
So
Southgate
if
comes in.
I'm saying if the match stays 0-0 or if the match stays level to the latter quarter of the match, then as the match progresses from 70 minute to 120 minute, whatever, England has the advantage.
Definitely agree. If Spain doesn't put the game to bed, by that I mean a 2-goal cushion, like 70th minute or something, then England still have a chance. Run over the English side. They're just enjoying themselves out there. Like on the other hand, it feels like you took a bunch of kids and gave them, punishment every time you watch English play. It doesn't look like any of them wants to be on the field. It's a torture for them, for the opposition and viewers, everybody. While Spain is just, playing football like how we used to play on the streets. So I'm gonna go with the 2-1 for Spain, with Bellingham scoring a late meaningless equalizer. Not equalizer, sorry. A goal that cuts the
Consolation.
deficit by half. Yeah,
Consolation goal.
consolation, exactly. So 2-1 to Spain.
So yeah, same,
Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, same here, Kriska. So I was gonna say 2-1 to Spain as well, but I don't think Spain can bank on Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams as the English fullbacks are gonna go all guns blazing on blocking out the channels and the half space from Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams to Alvaro Morata. So I think some midfield magic has to be conjured upon from Spain for them to channelize their creativity and then block out the centre backs of England, and then some goals have to be scored. But yes, Chris.
Yeah, so see, they call me like United Trey in my group. So it always, whatever I predict, the opposite happens. So, and I want my boy to lift his first trophy, so I'm going Spain 3-1. So whatever I said, I just hope the opposite happens. So
Holy shit.
Who's your boy?
Holy
I'm so
shit.
confused. Cole Palmer.
no, Harry.
Harry Kane, oh, of course.
Yeah,
Dude.
okay.
Yeah.
You sent
I
the boy
want him
to
to.
Hogwarts last year,
Yeah,
so he can
still-
finally realize his potential. You are
Yeah,
treating him
still-
worse than they treated Harry. That Harry. in Sorcerer's Stone. So don't count on him to add a note to Spurs in his victory.
I am already settled for Harry Kane this season only. I just hope these other boys who won trophies do some magic so that he can lift this first one. So that's
Okay.
what I.
That brings us to we saved the I want to say best, but it's more like we saved the most annoying for the last. Our in-house English merchant, Klasa.
Look, see, the sun is shining as well.
Sun-kissed Klasa.
So, yeah, going for an
How
England
is the weather in England, though? I hear it's just gloomy all the time.
I'm not in England to say, but
Yeah.
certainly shining here on the English fans in Berlin as we are waiting
Okay.
for the European finals. And I think I'll be celebrating by 11 p.m. tomorrow night itself. I don't think it'll go to
Okay.
extra time, in my opinion. We'll have
At
Mr.
exactly 12:31.
And I think
Hey, your order
it
for
will-
2 boxes of tissue has just been picked up.
it will
Whatever
be
days Swiggy or
poetic. It will be
Blinkit
poetic
equivalent is.
when it'll be poetic when a Real Madrid clutch number 5 will score the winner and knock Spain out. So that will make it more beautiful. So, Kriska, just to rub it on your face, Bellingham will score the winner.
Yeah, I got it. I mean,
Yeah,
as
come on, obvious.
calculating as the clues were, I somehow managed to find it.
I hope.
No, it's
I
like
hope,
it's like
I hope,
no.
I hope
As
Menu is
as
able
it's,
to.
as it
I
has
hope
been
Menu is
happening for
also able
last.
to overshine Yamal as well in the finals because
Leave the poor kid alone. He's 16.
Yeah.
Don't
even
need to
Menu
rub it in
is
his.
even
And
Menu is
rubbing it in a 16-year-old face is not really something
I'm not
you should be going.
with all due respect. I'm not saying the rubbing it. I just want Menu to win over Yamal right now. It's quite simple.
Okay.
My fan lies.
United.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a United
All
fan.
these club fan boys with their Mino agenda and their
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend's agenda.
With this, I actually want to say something very short. I guess Rodri was going on an unbeaten run. Mino ended it, and
Yeah.
take up.
Ooh.
Right, I hope the same happens.
See,
Oh, that's
also,
it,
just to rub it right, Charlie, you asked me a question earlier. Meno has never lost to Liverpool till date, and he knocked your Virgil van Dijk out of the tournament as well. Your Liverpool captain, so take that as well.
Okay, so it looks like
why club agenda
catching
right now?
strays.
Yeah, I mean, why
Anyway,
club
I think
agenda?
I genuinely didn't think in a Spain versus English prediction we'd be outnumbered 3-2. Like if that's the scoreline tomorrow, regardless of which team wins, I'll be happy because we would have had a very entertaining game. Thank you so much for joining, gentlemen. Let's remember the stream because tomorrow we know who will come back to the stream and who will suddenly, fall under the weather because the sun did not shine tomorrow.
I don't know who is coming back to the stream, but I certainly know that football is coming home. Let's end it there.
Oh,
Okay,
that
I
was
have something
beautiful.
for you.
Yeah.
You earned it.
Good one. Good one. Good one.
Bye, boys.
Bye.